Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In this video, if you have not heard the news recently, Tom Brady, he came out, he was on the Stephen A. Smith show, and he kind of was doing an interview. Something that he said in the interview was something a little bit alarming to some NFL people. He talks about the NFL nowadays being very mediocre, and for those of you who do not know, Tom Brady, he was one of the people when he was playing in the league who was big on making the NFL safer for quarterbacks, the whole roughing the passer thing, trying to enforce some rules. And now it's kind of weird that he's coming out and kind of going against this stuff. So what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to kind of put the clip up on screen. You guys can watch it for yourself if you have not seen it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through, we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to go through kind of talking things that he kind of pointed out of the NFL being soft, the NFL being weak, the NFL not being the same as it used to be, and then we'll kind of go from there. So without further ado, if you're going to enjoy, as always, make sure you drop a like. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, like I said a minute ago, I'm going to put the clip up on the screen. Enjoy it.
I think there's a lot of mediocrity in today's NFL. Yeah. I don't see the excellence that I saw in the past.
Why not?
And
why not?
I think the coaching isn't as good as it was. I don't think the development of young players is as good as it was. The rules have allowed a lot of bad habits to get into the actual performance of the game. So I just think the product, in my opinion, is less than what it's been. I look at a lot of players like Ray Lewis and Rodney Harrison and Ronnie Lott, and guys that impacted the game in a certain way, and every hit they would have made would have been a penalty. You hear coaches complaining about their own player being tackled and not necessarily, why don't they talk to their player about how to protect himself? We used to work on the fundamentals of those things all the time. Now they're trying to be regulated all the time. Offensive players need to protect themselves. It's not up to the defensive player to protect the offensive player. A defensive player needs to protect himself. I didn't throw the ball to certain areas because I was afraid players were going to get knocked out. That's the reality. Wow. I didn't throw it to the middle when I played Ray Lewis because you knock him out of the game, and I couldn't afford to lose a good player.
If you want to watch that entire thing, I'll put the link down in the description if you want to go watch it. But then there's also the article here that kind of goes in the depth of what he was talking about. I'll put this link as well down in the description if you want to go check it out for yourself. But like he kind of talked about in the video, he talks about the rules not being the same. He talks about the NFL being soft. He talks about one of the things that he pointed out was he had to adjust the way he played football because he knew a receiver. They went across the middle. You had guys back in the day like Ray Lewis, Charles Woodson, Ed Reed. Hell, back in the day, God rest his soul, Sean Taylor, when he was alive. You did not throw the ball across the middle. You didn't throw the ball as much way out there because of those dudes. And I get kind of what he's saying with how he talks about how the NFL is really soft right now. But the thing he's kind of missing is the way the NFL works nowadays, and this can go for even the NBA. They're trying to keep their stars on the field. Think of it like this. In the NFL, you have a receiver coming across the middle and they get lit up by a safety coming downhill just ready to lay the boom out for them. You're going to get an unnecessary roughness penalty. Back in the day, guys would get decapitated and the refs would just stand there like, come on, get up, get up. Nowadays, those hits you've been seeing back in the day, especially the compilations, if you go online, type in best hits in NFL history, those hits would put you in fucking prison nowadays. But he goes on to say here, like it said in the video, he talks about, quote, offensive players need to protect themselves. It's not up to a defensive player to protect an offensive player. A defensive player needs to protect himself. And I think a lot of that, or a lot of the way that the rules have to come into play, have allowed this. You can essentially play carefree, and then if anybody hits you hard, there's a penalty. Quote, here's the thing I don't understand about Tom Brady. He's the fucking reason some of these rules are ruled. Do you know the amount of times back in the day, hell, in the early 2000s, the dude would throw the ball across the middle, and whether it was Randy Moss or in his later prime with Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola, all those guys, Chris Hogan, those dudes would get lit up, and Tom Brady was immediately hollering out like, yo, flag, flag. And then let's not even talk about, oh my God, the roughing the passer penalties. The amount of times the dude would just get pushed on the shoulder, a guy be coming around a defensive end, and Brady would throw the ball, a guy would try to like reach out to try to strip the ball. They would shove Tom Brady by his shoulder, he'd go flying on the ground, and he'd immediately be getting up, looking around like, flag, flag. Now I'm guessing the question that everybody's kind of talking about is like the quote that I just read. Offensive players need to learn to protect themselves the same way defensive players need to learn to protect themselves. Tom Brady talked about how Bill Belichick back in the day, whenever he was playing, some of the things they were taught and coached into them was, you don't throw the ball across the middle if you're playing the Baltimore Ravens, or you did not throw the ball across the middle if you're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, because Troy Polamalu and Ray Lewis existed for those reasons, that they were going to come down and they were going to just boom on your guy. I mean, he talks about how there was times where he would have to throw the ball, and if he saw the receiver over there, he would purposely not throw the ball to him, or he would maybe throw the ball to the ground because he didn't want his guy to get just hit for no reason. Or there'd be times where he might have maybe Edelman coming across the middle, he could throw it there. But right there is Ray Lewis, and if he throws it to Edelman, Ray Lewis is going to light his ass up. Meanwhile, he has a check down right here, and that's why a lot of times he would sometimes throw the check down, because it's like, I can throw this check down, he can go get maybe 4 or 5 yards, go on the ground before Ray Lewis kills him, and then live to see another day. Now, the point that I made about the NBA earlier on, if you remember what I said, the thing that this kind of goes in both leagues, the NFL and the NBA, think of it like this, like I just said with the NFL, you can't hit a guy roughing the passer penalties, you can't hit a quarterback below the hip or above the shoulders and up in the head and neck area. There's also defensive player penalties where unnecessary roughness. If a receiver is going across the middle and they jump up to catch the ball and you go up and you hit them up around the shoulders up to the head or neck area, unnecessary roughness, 15 yards, because apparently they're a defensive player. They can't protect themselves while they're up in the air. The NBA in a way is kind of like that as well. You can't foul a guy, and I understand don't foul a guy, meaning they go up for a shot, reaching up and just like yanking their arm down. That is a foul. But there's times where they go up for a layup and like they'll go up for the shot and they'll like reach their hand out and just touch the opponent, and then it's the opponent that gets the foul called on them, not the person reaching out and trying to get the foul on them. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I know you all know who I'm talking about. Joel Embiid. There's players in the NBA who they don't even try to actually score anymore. Nowadays, they just try to drive, and they just try to drive right in there and look for the foul, and then whenever they don't get the foul, they're like screaming at the ref like, yo, do your fucking job. And I understand at times where if it's an actual foul, like they're getting yanked on the shoulders, their arms, they're getting pulled, that I understand. But in the case of Joel Embiid, sometimes it gets a little bit of bullshit. Now, in the NFL's case, the way I would see this being fixed or changed or anything like that, it would take some time. The thing that I think the NFL is working on right now is they, like I said in the beginning, they're trying to protect players. They don't want players, especially star players, quarterbacks, to go out because they make the money for the league. If a quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen, or some of the top guys like a Lamar Jackson, a Joe Burrow now has just gone down. When these star players go down, you're not going to be able to sell tickets because sometimes fans, yes, they go to see their favorite team play, but sometimes they just go to see maybe like their favorite player play. Last thing is I'm going to say this. Players all over the league, they always talk about the NFL is so soft. I love the old days of the NFL. But then at the same time, they're also the same players where it be the quarterbacks where they're getting up looking for the rough in the passer. It be the defensive players where when they get they go out and just like try to decapitate a guy, and they're looking around like, why are you giving me a flag? It's like, you can't decapitate a guy, but you can hit him hard. There's been times in the NFL where we've seen some big hits here in the past year, in this season that we're currently in, 2023. There's been some big hits, and I like the big hits. But then there's also sometimes where there's some pretty big hits that I do not allow. When you hit a guy so hard that they don't get up, that's pushing it. But when you hit a guy to where it's like you just kind of maybe see them coming and you can check them real quick, they go down, but they pop right back up and maybe they try to fight you, that I like. I like the physical contact. I think one thing that would help the NFL a lot, this is my last point that I want to make, something that could help the NFL out, let me know in the comments if you agree with me. 1 fight per game. Hockey has the fight rule where if 2 players want to go ahead and fight, throw the gloves off, let's go, bare knuckle fight, we're fighting. I think it's like they give them like a minute to fight, I think is the rule. And the refs, they're going to stand back and they're going to let you fight. The second one person goes down, the fight's over, they're going to split you up. But they let you fight. Now just imagine if we had fighting in the NFL. Do you remember a couple years ago when there was the Josh Norman, Odell Beckham Jr. rivalry? Oh my God, do you imagine can you imagine the fights we would have seen from that? And hell, look at the rivalries around. Oh my God, imagine an AFC North teams going and fighting. Imagine the Ravens and Steelers fighting. Imagine now the Browns and Steelers. Dude, the fights would be nuts. I'm gonna end it off with this. The NFL is always gonna be the no fun league as long as it's soft, as long as it's just stupid stuff all around the league. There's so many things that need to change, but I don't see it happening. And when it comes to Tom Brady, I feel like he just ran his mouth for nothing. Him talking about how he wants it to be like the way it used to be, and the NFL being soft nowadays, when he's literally the one that changed most of the things the way the NFL is nowadays. Come on, Tom. Be better than that. But other than that, that's all I got to discuss for today's video. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. As always, with any of these videos I post here, and if you wanted to enjoy today's video, make sure you do drop a like. It's very much appreciated if you do so. As always, if I missed a detail for anything that went on in this Tom Brady discussion, and maybe you want to add a detail down in the comment section down below, feel free to do so. Leave your comment down below. If you want to add your point, add your opinion on the whole thing. If you think the NFL is soft, you think they're kind of in the sweet spot, you think they're too rough. If you think they're too rough, you got a problem. But like I said, leave your opinion down in the comment section down below. Be more than welcome to talk about it with you guys. If you're a fan of the content that I am posting here and you want to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.